Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Steven and welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to discuss the comments that Amber Rose made in a recent interview. Um, she said something to the effect of, I don't know how I could say this without sounding effed up, but a lot of the people where I'm from aren't traditionally attractive people. And also notice she did say people. She didn't just say women. She said people. And it seemed like she came from a majority black neighborhood. You know, Yet she would still let these dudes holler at her, right? If she felt like she could get some money out of them, right? So, just a little quick shout out to all these dark skinned dudes, especially who really, pretty much, have given her her career and also have helped sustain her career. And that's just something for you guys to know. It's something for you guys to think about too, by the way. All right, so I have an article. I'm going to kind of read through this article. It kind of touches on what Amber said, but also her response to the criticism that she has received for saying what she said. All right. So the title of this article is Amber Rose clarifies comment on Philly girls not being traditionally attractive. All right. So now she's backtracking and trying to clear things up. Like, oh, no, I didn't mean it like that. No. People are accusing the model of insinuating that light skin is more attractive. And people, I think, jump to that conclusion because they're trying to think, like, what's the difference between you and the other girls from Philly, right? And people are speculating that it's the skin tone, but also just, racial features in general, though. Right. Amber Rose is taking heat for suggesting that women from South Philly are the women from South Philadelphia that she grew up with are not, quote unquote, traditionally attractive. In a video of an interview on the podcast Drink Champs that started gaining traction this week, Amber talks about growing up in South Philly as a woman blessed with beauty, straight from her mouth, explaining that people often did not believe she was a native because of her looks. They didn't think that she was from South Philly because, she is, as she puts it, blessed with beauty. But them other girls in South Philly ain't. So she the only one in South Philly who's beautiful, obviously. She the only one, She met all the other women in South Philly, and she like, nah, y'all ugly. Y'all some mud ducks. But me, I look good. Right? All right, so here's the quote from Amber from that interview that she did. Here she goes. Quote unquote, I don't know how to say, well, let me try and say it like Amber did. I don't know how to say, or rather, I don't know how I could say this without sounding effed up. But a lot of the people where I'm from aren't like traditionally attractive people, Rose said in the June interview. I know that was a weak impression. But she kind of talks like a Kardashian, honestly. I think she wants kind of like a low-key want to be like a Kardashian, though. So, yeah, again, Amber said that people from South Philly, especially women, well, she didn't specify women, but she said people, right? And I think South Philly has a majority black population. So, yeah. So all you Negroes ugly. The dudes included, all y'all are not traditionally attractive people, Because, she didn't specify gender. And just want to make that clear again. Let's see. Next, some social media users felt that Amber was insinuating that her light complexion is what made her more attractive than dark-skinned women in her neighborhood. And here's a tweet from Yvette Dion saying, Amber is gorgeous, but when she refers to herself as traditionally attractive, what is she placing emphasis on? Her racial ambiguity? And based on the photo, Yvette Dion is black. But yeah, people kind of had that question. They were like, well, you know, what's the difference between you and a girl from South? Feel like what makes you beautiful and them not beautiful traditionally? But you notice also that Amber didn't say that she was traditionally beautiful. She said that she was blessed with beauty, right? Words in this particular situation especially are very important because Amber could have said something to the effect of like, you know, because I fit into the beauty standard more, I, you know, had a different experience than a lot of the women in South Philly. Because she could have spun this in a different way, where it kind of was put in a situation. She could have spun it in a way that made her almost sort of like check her privilege in a way, right? Check her beauty privilege, check her, light skin privilege, etc. She could have spun it in that sort of a way and say, for me, I know things were my experience in South Philly was a little different from other women's experiences in South Philly because I kind of fit in more so with the beauty standard, But Amber didn't say it like that, right? She said it more so kind of like in a way like kind of like low key bragging, low key saying I'm better looking than them. It was said in a very careless way. I think that's how she feels. I don't think it was totally just poor word choice. I think she just said what was on her mind, right? I think she should have just been a little bit careful in her word choice, but then again, maybe she didn't really care to be careful in her word choice, you know? Another tweet. Traditionally attractive means what, though? Light, mix, help me out, Amber. Another tweet. Amber Rose says girls from Philly aren't traditionally attractive, basically saying black women are ugly. This is who y'all gave a pass to. And shout out to Lade, Lade, I think, at Just Son. I agree with that. Because while black men, specifically dark-skinned black men, did play a part in, creating Amber Rose's career and sustaining it, some black women, especially some dark-skinned black women, play a part in sustaining her career as well. A lot of the women who follow Amber Rose are black women, especially dark-skinned black women. I'm not quite sure why that is. I know Chrissy did the video on this, and she believes that it's because perhaps these women, dark-skinned women, kind of want to live vicariously through Amber, because Amber Rose, she does get treated a certain way, despite her being, fucked in, fucked out, fucked over, fucked here, fucked there, everywhere, slutted out. She still gets treated a certain way that is kind of like, to an extent, like almost in a way that is like put on a pedestal, like despite all that she's done, her past, and also, even her, getting her body from the Build a Thought workshop, she still is treated a certain way, and I think on some level, some dark-skinned women are like, wow, I wish I could be like that, some, not all, I'm just saying, particularly the ones who follow her, you know. But I think this is sort of a lesson that we all can sort of, I think especially dark-skinned women though, especially a lesson and something that needs to be addressed, right? Is Amber Rose really here for you? Is she really down for you, right? Because sometimes the small details tell a big story, right? This is one of those times. The small details tell a big story, right? And that whole Kodak Black situation, I was able to read through the BS in that. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure the dark-skinned women who ain't under Amber Rose's spell could read through that. I'm sure the ones who were under her spell were all like, oh my God, I can't believe Amber loves us. Even now, they're all like, oh, thank you so much for clarifying your comment, Amber. Thank you so much. We know you ain't mean no harm, Amber. I swear, I bet you it's some, sad to say, but I bet you it is some dark-skinned women out there saying that, though. No shade. All right. Another tweet. So Amber Rose said where she's from, South Philly, people aren't traditionally attractive. What exactly is traditionally attractive? Okay, more questions, In an Instagram story published Thursday, Amber clarified her comments, insisting that she was referring to the mainstream standard of beauty. Even though, she didn't say that. But let's see what she has to say. So this is what Amber has to say. I know that people really want me to be a superficial bitch, but I'm just not like that. The model said. Well, Amber Rose is the model. What does Amber Rose actually do? Honestly, and I'm not even being shady with that, but does she actually have like a job? Is she like, because she's not even on reality TV. She stay in the news though. That's somebody is sustaining Amber's career. Dark-skinned black folk, the men and the women, are sustaining her career. I'm sure some light-skinned folks mixed in there too, and some other races too. But primarily, oddly enough, dark-skinned folks, I think, are helping sustain Amber's career. But yeah, Amber Rose is not like a superficial bitch, though, y'all. All right. But I can understand her being that way because I feel like that's the only thing she really has to offer. I don't think, I think Amber Rose is a really pretty woman, but it's like, okay, it's like, to an extent, it's almost like a dime a dozen. We can find pretty people, we can find pretty people now. Come on. And you ain't the only one who light skinned and, light bright damn near white, And also, who do you think made Amber Rose feel like she's so beautiful? You think it was white folk? I doubt it. I doubt it. Do you think it was black folk? Probably. No, I don't think it was the Latinos. I don't think it was the Asians. I think it was the black people. Let's see. Next. This is continuing her quote. Quote unquote, I find beauty in everyone. Unfortunately, it's not easy doing interviews and always saying things the way you really want to articulate, she continued. I wasn't saying that's how I felt. I was saying that's how people treated me. Based on what I've read, it seemed like that's how you felt, but also how other people felt about you. It's like both. Like people felt that way about you. Like, oh, you're so beautiful. You know, she's like, I know I'm blessed with beauty. Just right. And of course, it's not anything wrong to think that you are blessed with beauty, but in this particular context, I think it would have been really good for Amber to really sort of like have a moment and like really kind of like, you know, address some situation and also just check your privilege and just um also wording, word your, message a little better, right? But I don't think, of course, like right now she's backtracking because she's getting backlash from this, and she doesn't want her core fan base, black folks, especially, well, I guess, black people, um, to feel some type of way about her because she knows that that's her core base at the end of the day. She may not want it to be. She may think that she's better than her core base, et cetera, but, and also Amber probably has like managers and whatnot too. So this is partially probably why she's doing this backtracking and clarifying, right? But honestly, I don't think we should be taking much of what Amber says seriously anyway, because this is the same person who was like white at one point and then mixed at one point and then black at one point. And I don't know what race Amber is this week. Honestly, like, can somebody let me know? What race is Amber claiming this week, y'all? But I think that's pretty much the end of the article. So, yeah, so Amber Rose, the dark-skinned advocate, right? I don't know who was really buying that whole Kodak Black situation with Amber Rose calling him out and stuff like that. Who was really buying it? So I guess somebody was, but I think, well, I know I wasn't. I know I wasn't. But she really just goes on to prove the point I made in the video that I did about her responding to Kodak Black, which was basically I just felt that she was full of BS. Ultimately, she was just like, her words went in that whole Kodak Black situation and her post that she made, it didn't ring true. And this interview more or less confirms that those words did not ring true. One moment she's saying that she was rejected and felt a certain type of way because she was light and she wanted to be dark. Right. Look back at that quote. Look back at the post that she made. She said that. Even though at this point she was saying, oh, she was blessed with beauty. So if you were blessed with beauty and you were being treated in a positive way and being uplifted and people, not thinking you're a native because you're, traditionally beautiful, well, as she put it, blessed with beauty, why would you wish to be dark skinned? Right? Because she said that. She did say that in that article. Right? So, again, it's like you're just, I don't know. I think really that may have just been some marketing on Amber Rose's part and her people's part. Like, oh, let's jump on this, y'all. Let's jump on this. Amber Rose, you can say a little tweet here and it'll get you some press, right? Because, it'll be like a light-skinned woman, Some people don't like people referring to her as light-skinned. We gotta refer to her as something, right? So I'm going to just say light skin for the time being. But, people are like, oh, light skin, Amber Rose, like, oh, she can come out as like being like an ally for, dark skinned women, and helping them fight against colorism. And like, she can kind of gain some, publicity for calling out Kodak Black, or should I say Kodak Whack for his views that he had about dark skinned black women. But this goes to show you that pretty much Amber, like, if a dude like Kodak Black probably approached Amber and he had money, she wouldn't be saying none of this stuff. She'll be going right along with whatever the fuck he was saying, especially because it don't pertain to her. It pertain to dark skin, like shit, like Amber Rose. I'm multiracial. I'm mixed. You know, like that's what she gonna be like. Oh no, you know, right? She gonna change her identity for like the 15th time or however many times she's changed it. You know, and as I mentioned before, I think beauty is kind of like the only thing that Amber really has to offer, and like things that pertain to sex. That's pretty much as I see her. That's all that I see that she has to offer, based on what I see. I don't know her. I don't know. Perhaps she does have some sort of a vocation or a skill set of some sorts. But from what I see, I just see her relying on beauty and sex to get her where she is going. But as you know, like looks fade at one point or another. So I hope Amber Rose has some sort of a retirement policy, and because you don't be able to hang on to your looks forever unless she's gonna try to go for the plastic surgery route, which she going might end up just messing herself up, and you looking like a damn mess out here, you know. So I really think this might be a lesson for Amber to learn from. Perhaps try to find something about yourself that you can offer to other people that doesn't pertain to beauty or sex. Try and find something, because that seemingly is what she's about, like beauty and sex. And by the way, do you think if Amber Rose was a dark-skinned black woman, do you think she would have had this like career trajectory that she's had? You think that she would have been in the position that she's in now if she was a dark-skinned woman and still had like done the same exact thing, right? Had the same exact reputation, the same past. You think so? Yeah, like if Amber Rose was a dark-skinned woman, shoot, TV show, none of that. Being with Kanye West on the red carpet, none of that. Getting married to Wiz Khalifa and having his kid, being, coming from the strip club too, none of that. Having these rappers chasing after her, none of that. I just don't see that. Not them accepting it from a dark-skinned woman. I just don't see that. For some reason, I don't know exactly why that is, but I don't see that. Heck, even when the dark-skinned woman is attractive and has a good reputation and does all the things right, she still got to get reminded that she dark-skinned. No one reminds Amber that she got the reputation of a thought. No one reminds her that she came from the strip club. People don't even remind her that she light skinned, not in like a negative way, like, oh, check your privilege, nothing like that. Like, oh, you don't belong here, like, no, that don't happen. I speculate, I could be wrong about this, but I'm going to speculate that Amber Rose, once she gets through, like once her and 21 Savage are through, the next dude on the hit list, so to speak, is going to be Gilbert Arenas. Arenas. I can see that. If him and, I guess, Laura Govan, I guess, whatever their situation is, end up ending, I can see Gilbert, going after Amber. Long as it's light, bright, damn near white, right? But and he'll still be making and throwing shady comments at like dark-skinned women, especially Lupita. While he doing that too, acting like he got such a prize, right? I bet you that's gonna happen. But yeah, I think I pretty much am at the end. You know, I think I pretty much said that out. You know, all that I have to say. You know, um, but you know, ultimately, I think it was pretty ignorant. You know, and foolish of Amber Rose to say that no woman in South Philly is traditionally attractive except her. And that also kind of illustrates a little bit about her mentality, right? How she views herself, especially how she views herself in comparison to, you know, the other women she was around, right? But you know, Amber had help in that. You know, as I said, you know, especially the dark skinned men, right? They help create that monster. You know, they help create that mentality that she has, right? um, but hopefully, perhaps Amber can learn something from this. Honestly, I think Amber Rose needs to, if she really is trying to, you know, be down for women. I guess supposedly with this whole feminist thing that she's doing. Um, but as we know, feminism does not include black women. You know, um, so I guess Amber Rose is just continuing that theme, right? Feminism does not apply to black women, right? But I think Amber Rose, if she really wants to make amends, I think she needs to come onto some type of a social media platform, you know, perhaps another podcast of some sort, and do a self criticism, right? You know, call out yourself, call out your privilege, check your privilege. Like, you know, you could really, she still is like in a position where she could really kind of like at least turn this around and turn this into sort of like a teachable moment, right? You know, turn this into sort of a moment that we all can get something out of, right? Especially her. But I don't think she's going to end up doing that. One, because I don't think she cares enough to do that. Also, I think she may be ignorant, like too ignorant to do that. Um, so yeah, I guess at this point, the ball's in our court now, especially dark skinned women's court. Like, so what do you think about? Like, how are you gonna, you know, deal with Amber Rose at this point, dark skinned women? How are you gonna deal with her? Well, I guess that is to be determined. So until then, thank you very much for watching this video. Adios and goodbye for now.